Good afternoon, good evening, good night, good day to you. That's depending where you are in the world. It is Monday evening. We're doing our nighttime devotion. We're reading from the devotional Conflict and Courage. The title today, Worth More. The scripture reading comes from Hebrews 11, verse 26. Esteeming the reproach of Christ greater riches than the treasures in Egypt, for he had respect unto the recompense of the reward. Moses had been a student. He was well educated in all the learning of the Egyptians. But this was not the only qualification which he needed to prepare him for his work. He was in the providence of God to learn patience, to temper his passions. In a school of self-denial and hardships, he was to receive an education which would be of the utmost importance to him. These trials would prepare him to exercise a fatherly care over all who needed his help. No knowledge, no study, no eloquence could be a substitute for this experience in trials to one who was to watch for souls as they that must give an account. In doing the work of a humble shepherd, in being forgetful of self and interested for the flock to give to his charge, he was to become fitted for the most exalted work ever entrusted to mortals, that of being a shepherd of the sheep of the Lord's pasture. Those who fear God in the world must be connected with him. Christ is the most perfect educator the world ever knew. To receive wisdom and knowledge from him was more valuable to Moses than all the learning of the Egyptians. The faith of Moses led him to look at the things which are unseen, which are eternal. He left the splendid attractions of court life because sin was there. He gave up present and seeming good that flattered only to ruin and destroy. The real attractions, the eternal, were of value to him. The sacrifices made by Moses were really no sacrifices. With him, it was letting go a present, apparent, flattering good for sure, high, immortal good. Moses endured the reproach of Christ, considering reproach greater riches than all the treasures of Egypt. He believed what God had said and was not influenced to swerve from his integrity by any of the world's reproaches. He walked the earth as God's free man. He looked to the things unseen and faltered not. The recompense of reward was attractive to him, and it may be also to us. He was familiar with God. Worth more. Moses gave up the riches, the fame, the notoriety, the palace, the good food, the servants, having everything. And he gave it all up, walked away, turned his back. to serve God. Those who fear God in the world must be connected with him. We must have a connection with God. He will allow trials to come our way. But those are not to make us fail. Those are to make us, if we stumble, if we fall, they're to make us get up and carry on. Face it again and again and again until we overcome, until we pass, until we endure whatever we have to do to get over that trial. And it's not just one trial. It's climbing a mountain. You climb that mountain, and a mountain, you cannot climb a mountain if it's smooth, can you? It's got to be raggy and ragged and sharp, and otherwise you've got nothing to hold on to, nothing to. But you will get scrapes and cuts and bruises, but you carry on. And the thing is, once you do climb that mountain, there's another one. And once you climb that mountain, after all the scrapes and cuts and bruises, and maybe you slide down and mash yourself up and heal and then carry on up again. Once you get to the top of that mountain, there's another one. There's always a bigger mountain. Always. But that's beautiful. That is beautiful. Because our Father, him, wants you to keep growing. And to grow, you need to keep climbing.